Alright folks, looks like she's fitting good. The tank anyway is. Do have a little bit of a bump up there, just like I thought. I think I'll grind it down a little bit or machine it down a little bit on the head. Make it a little bit lower. Everything else seems to be fitting fine. It held together good putting on. Let's see how it does coming off. Yeah. Fuel tank stays right in the same spot, thank goodness. I just added that other strap right down here from the bottom up. And I know this stuff's not the prettiest work in the world, but you know, it's just a quickie anyway. But we're going to run this. We got to put our check valve in, or our ball, and then we're going to run this fuel line down in the top, solder around it, and then we got to come up with something for a fill. And I think I'll just put maybe a little hole in it and just not fill it quite to the top. I hope it'll be okay. And I don't know what much more to do. You know, it's got to be vented. It can't try to suck the thing shut. So, you know, I got to leave some kind of an opening at the top somehow. But I think that's going to work out. I don't know how much fuel that is. It's not much, but it'll be enough to run it for, you know, just a little bit. But I will keep showing you more as I go. Okay folks, we got the tank on, all the good stuff, and put my line in, soldered it. Of course I used the torch. One thing about it here, I'm using a propane #2 oxygen oxygen propane torch for cutting. I don't have a brazen head, so and this torch actually won't take a brazen head anyway, but it's an old one. So I'm just I'm using way too much heat, and I was afraid I was going to get solder down in my little pipe somehow and get my check ball, so I was being real worried about that. Got it together, and then I put gas in it. Of course I drilled me a hole here and I got me a little rag in it, but I was a little worried about the getting the solder in there, so I didn't do a real good job soldering it, and got it on there, and of course it's sucking air around it. It would start up and run, but it would, you know, shut back off. And so I am using some more JB Quicks on it, and I just covered the whole thing, and it's not a big deal. But thankfully this ain't going to be seen, because this is definitely not quality workmanship, I promise. But gas tank's not leaking anywhere though, so you know, that's a good thing. I just got a little bit in a hurry there and didn't take my time on that, trying to get finished up. My own fault. But I think this will take care of it. Should take care of it, and you know, worst comes worst, we'll take it all back off and redo it. I mean, it's not really a big problem, but and you know, this has got to be vented, so I really can't put a plug or anything like that in it. So we'll probably just go with the little rag there. I mean, it stays a little bit wet, but it'll keep it from splashing out. And you know, we'll keep rolling with it here. We'll let that sit a while. You know, it's JB Quicks, don't take nearly as long, but we'll let it sit and check it out and see what she's going to do here shortly.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Hey folks, Jonathan here. Got a little engine here I want to show you. This is a 3 horsepower Briggs & Stratton side shaft. Came off of a pump, which was a diaphragm pump, or some people call them mud pumps. You can see it's got a gear on it instead of a shaft, but I had to put this cover back on it because the seal was in it and it would leak oil without, so I just got a couple bolts in it. But basically that's no different than any, you know, regular shaft setup. You can see like a little oil coming out around the plug there. Might be an oil burner, but not a bad little engine. Gas tank is shot on it. It's full of rust and pieces and such, and actually here's some of the stuff that came out of it. Not quite sure. Carboned up, but looks like a normal engine, but this engine's a little bit special. I'm going to show you a few things on this, and if you see, I got this bolted down to a board. Board sitting on the concrete, and I'm going to slide back here and pick this board up, and as you can see, there's nothing under the board, no holes in the concrete, of course, and you'll know why I'm showing you that here in a few minutes. But I'm going to get this camera set up, and we're going to start it up for you, and then we're going to shut it down, and then I'm going to do a couple things and start it up again, and you see what you think of it. Okay folks, I'm going to start this engine up for you and let you see it run, and I'll shut it down, and then I'm going to do a couple little things to it, and we'll fire it up again. Okay, as you can see, it runs pretty good. Runs fair to be an old 3-horse. We're going to do a couple things here. One thing, we're going to take this carburetor off. You know, a whole bunch of people on YouTube's building stuff and worrying about the carburetors. Old Musty with his bikes. You know, around here, if you make an engine run real efficient, you don't even really need a carburetor. So we're going to take this one off, and we'll just throw it to the side here. There ain't no gas in it anyway, I don't reckon, but we can't afford gas around here. And I suppose we'll just take the spark plug wire off too. We really don't need it. She did light me up there once, but they run pretty good without all that stuff.